What's the simplest, most overlooked, forgotten game mechanic? Yeah, it's enemy AI infighting. Some of you may not even know what exactly AI infighting is. That's because it's a feature which isn't really present in a lot of games anymore. But the most well-known example to people is Minecraft. Ever had the joy of watching a firefight between a skeleton and another skeleton break out in your game? That's infighting. And its implementation is so easy that initially it might have even been a mistake. In short, it's basically a kind of revenge system. This is also pretty much how it worked in Doom, like years ago. And in both cases, it has created its own legacy of unique cockfight-like entertainment. With people setting up fights which normally can't happen in-game just to see the result. Even back then, developers saw the potential of these fights between AI enemies and started to use them for cinematic or world-building purposes. With the difference of course being, that instead of it being simple infighting, they had now pre-programmed some enemies to fight each other from the get-go. Examples nowadays include the Call of Duty games, Battlefield, and so on. But there's an even earlier and better example in my opinion. That being Half-Life. You are a scientist working in a secret base with other scientists. You happen to accidentally teleport in aliens into the secret base. Now the aliens are trying to kill you and the scientists. So you fight your way through the facility, find AI security guards and team up with them to fight the aliens. Then, after some time, you receive some news. The government is sending in a special military unit to help you clean up the mess. Your first reaction will most likely be,
"Thank God you're here! Rescued it!"
No, they are killing the aliens and the scientists. Why? This is literally a secret research facility, and the aliens and you, and the other scientists, need to be eliminated in order to hide what happened here. And it makes total sense. And again, it looks cool. Makes for entertaining content and perfectly fits the story of the game, as I just explained. And all of that in a shooter from 1998. A time where making a story that justifies in-game events wasn't the biggest focus. Now, meanwhile, we have Metal Gear Solid 5, an 80 million Hideo Kojima production. A game so real and realistic and historically accurate, but all the previous goofy war criminal characters are now serious and traumatized, as they should be. So serious with the main guy switches voice actors, just so he sounds less goofy. For a game containing tons of material referencing historical events, to the point where it even includes child soldiers, which was pretty controversial at the time. Yeah, where is it set again? The Soviet-Afghan War. Well, as it turns out, the same game which is weapon customization. AI buddies, horse shit, sleep gas, reflex mode, parasites, 1984, Metal Gear, an integrated online base building PvP mode, and a pretty diverse functional character creation system which you can spend like 20 minutes in, only for it to literally not be used in the game, just so the game can tell you that you are literally Big Boss at the end of the game. Thanks, I know. Yeah, my point is, this game is set in the Soviet-Afghan Mujahideen war, whatever. There is no war in the game. It's just an Afghan desert entirely populated with Soviets. And those Soviets are never actively fighting anyone. You and your one AI buddy are their only target. And your helicopter, I guess, but nobody else. And not only are there no Mujahideen fighters fighting anyone in the game, you also never see them do anything which affects the in-game environment or plot in any way. Their only inclusion in the game, which depicts them as people actively fighting the Soviets, and not just prisoners of war, is when they are mentioned in a timer. Oh yeah, and the same thing applies to Africa, which is set in a civil war between different private military companies and ethnic groups, but well, they are all here this time. But they all live in harmony, so maybe Venom Snake is the true villain after all. The only infighting there is in the game is between wolves and some other animals and the soldiers. And while that does make sense, it's kind of disappointing, because you could kind of imagine what it would look like. Imagine groups of Mujahideen, soldiers, outposts, attacking Soviets, different events happening in the game, and you just slipping by. And no, the game obviously doesn't have the old school infighting, which, while kind of logical with the enemies being mostly intelligent humans who understand the concept of accidental friendly fire, the main game's theme is revenge, and also the endless cycle of revenge. It's what the entire villain revolves around.
My fatherland, my truth was stolen from me, and so was my past. All that's left is the future, and mine is revenge.
Yeah, just as a reminder, the previous game literally had 2 NPC factions fighting. So, come on. The main reason I can ascertain as to why you never see any war in this game, beyond unique priorities,
The diamond shaker. Give me the diamond shaker, soldier. Shake.
is that too much AI to AI interaction can lead to unpredictable results, which can appear unrealistic or create unforeseen consequences in the game beyond the player's control. One example of this is Oblivion's Radiant AI system, which in its present state creates some really goofy but enjoyable scenarios. And at one point gave so much freedom to the AI that quest characters could end up dying before the player ever met them. I personally prefer having to accept the game being slightly more goofy and unpredictable over trying to create some super serious, totally real and controlled product. And then realizing it's not as fun and then just adding quirky stuff to it. Because while sticking to a serious perfectionist approach can work if it's executed well, as proven by Metal Gear Solid 5's prologue, it is very costly and also very incompatible with open world. If you don't have enough money left, that is. The best way to prove my point here is by showing you PewDiePie's Metal Gear Solid 5 Let's Play and his reaction to the gameplay. Enjoy.
Like, even for someone who hasn't played Metal Gear Solid, this is really interesting. Whoa! They weren't lying when they said this intro was intense. Eyes on the road. Oh my god. What? Oh. He has a horse? He has a freaking unicorn, a flying unicorn? I've seen it all. That was the prologue of Metal Gear Solid. What a fucking ride. That was amazing. Oh my god. Fuck yes. I'm sold. Alright, I'm sold. I want to play more. But I'm gonna take a little break.
I'm afraid it's been 9 years.
Also, just as a disclaimer, I of course love Metal Gear Solid 5. I've spent the last 5 years fucking... I just think it has lots of areas which can be improved, as do other people. Didn't know, I'm remaking Metal Gear Solid 5, at least its core gameplay system, for my own Metal Gear 1 and Metal Gear Solid 5 Kingdom of the Flies remake, and I'm trying to practice what I preach. And so far, faction-based infighting is working, with actors having an actor component assigning them to a faction, and also giving them hate or love values for all the other factions. So, if they're in a Mexican standoff, they can effectively decide who to shoot first. The only thing breaking immersion right now is enemy group behavior, and how you can have a singular soldier just rush the enemy side, even when his entire squad is wiped out. So the final step will be to create a soft unit system, where soldiers move in groups and react to their squad members being wiped out, either fleeing, regrouping, or going berserk on the enemy when half dead. Or maybe they could even try and revive their squad mates, like they did in Peace Walker, or carry them off. But that is a far more complex system than basic infighting or faction-based infighting, since I'm essentially assigning unique personalities to all the soldiers. So when the time comes and I do manage to pull it off, I'll have to cover that in a separate video. So what is the final takeaway? Well, I would like to end this video essay with a quote from the late Miyamoto Musashi. Think lightly of yourself and deeply of the world. Whatever that means. This seemed really deep when I wrote it into the script. I think the point I was trying to make was, give up trying to be serious and all-controlling. Just let things go, and the world be, and go with the unpredictable flow of life, no matter how goofy it gets. On that note, Metal Gear Solid 10 is releasing in 7 days. I haven't played Metal Gear Solid 9 yet, so I'm going to stream that tomorrow. Have a nice day.